Sex, life, and tech. If you're 21 or 101, we love them all. Welcome to Age Blind with Nancy AF.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Age Blind with me, Nancy A. Shenker, also known as Nancy AF. And as I like to say, the date on your birth certificate is meaningless when it comes to talking about sex, life, and tech. And that's why these episodes with 6 people are called the SALT Box, SLT standing for Sex, Life, and Tech across the generations. And every month we pick a theme. I bring in 5 people who may or may not have met each other in the past, and we talk about a topic. So today's topic is one of my favorites, going with my theme of spring cleaning. I even brought my feather duster along for those of you who are watching on YouTube. We are talking about mess, downsizing, cleaning up the shit in your life, cleaning up the shit in your head that is getting in the way of you living in the present and the future. And as somebody who has moved multiple times over the last 10 years, downsizing every year along the way, I know the value of reorganizing your life, reorganizing your thoughts, and living with a whole lot less. So today we have a fan favorite on the podcast, Betsy Fine of Clutterbusters. So Betsy, just very quickly, how did you and I meet? And most importantly, why is having mess in your space so harmful? And Betsy has been on the TV show Hoarders. So when you talk about mess, Betsy is the queen of demessifying.
Right.
Hit it, Betsy.
Okay, so hi, I'm Betsy with Clutterbusters. Our tagline is "We ain't afraid no mess," and I've seen it all. Nancy and I met when I moved to Arizona. We just met on Facebook, hooked up on coffee date, and the rest is history. Basically, I think that having clutter around you, when you see a pile, it makes you feel exhausted. Now, a lot of times with clients, not only is that an issue, but with clients, it can get expensive because how many times has someone said, I can't find my reading glasses, I can't find my reading glasses, and then they keep buying and buying and buying reading glasses. And then sometimes we go in and we're like, you have like 10 glasses, you didn't need to buy any. So that can obviously be expensive, and that's not something you want to do. So little things about clutter that can make you feel bad and expensive.
Yes, as my therapist used to like to say, shop in your closet before you go out and buy something. So, Missy, how did you and I meet? And you have been along this journey with me, so you know from whence you speak.
Yes. So hello, my name is Missy. I'm a professional organizer, and Nancy is one of my clients, and I helped her downsize, move. I helped her with her mom's jewelry. I've done it all.
Yeah, when my mom died, my mother had 350 pairs of costume jewelry, pieces of costume jewelry, and we went through that. She went through financial stuff with me, like she's like up there with
Papers
priest,
and
rabbi,
yeah.
and home organizer. And what do you find, Missy, because this is what you do day in and day out in Arizona. Like, what do you find that people really have the toughest time giving up when you are working with them to organize?
Well, it really depends on the client because everyone has, different sentimental items. So I would say that that would be kind of the hardest thing to let go of because they get things from their grandmother and their mom, and then their garages are just full and full of their stuff. It's really hard because that is hard. That's right. That's sentimental. So that's really important. So how do you get rid of all the stuff that is taking up your own home, right? You are receiving all this stuff, and you're just taking it because you feel like you should, but it's not actually, whether it be something you want, but you keep it because it's sentimental. So I think that has been really hard to let go of.
Yeah, and what I do, and I've been doing more of it lately, is I just take a picture of something and I put it in my Google photo archive so I
Yeah.
can look at it without actually touching it. And I just
Yeah.
took an entire box of my family photos, dropped it off at a digitizing place in Phoenix, and I just said, and they gave me back a thumb drive and I loaded it up in Google Photos, and I have every single picture from the time I was born until, yesterday.
I love that. I love that.
And Lori, how did you and I meet? And you have a very, very interesting combination of careers. So share with our
I think
audience.
I do have an interesting combination of careers, licensed therapist as well as interior designer. And Nancy and I met through a fellow bartender. And we ended up not working together, but being great friends. And I've also been through several moves just over the last year alone. I think I was in 3 different places.
Yeah,
So
and
yeah, it's been
being in the
interesting.
Hamptons, I'm sure you get a certain level of snobbery where people, they're all about the big house and a lot of stuff. So how do you get somebody to downsize when so much of their ego is wrapped up with the size of their house?
It's really getting them to look at what they have and disassociate with it and be like, okay, do I really want this? Do I need it? Does it have value? Is it integral to society? Is it giving you a status? And if it's really not giving you status, you really don't need it. So
I
yeah,
love that. I
it's
love that. I
prying
remember
a lot.
Missy picked up something in my apartment and she was like, "What are you planning on doing with this?" It wasn't the feather duster, it was something else.
I said
And
it
I'm like,
nicer. I said it nicer.
but sometimes you need the kick in the ass because nice doesn't
Hmm.
always work. Like I respond better to tough love. So it's also like knowing, who your client is and knowing what buttons to push and when. And, humor will always work with me. Like, what are you planning on doing with this? I'm like, that was all it
Right.
took. I'm like, you're right.
You're like,
I'm not going to
goodbye.
use it again. Bye-bye. Um, and Julie, you and I met. This is an interesting story of how you and I met.
Yeah, so I joined a Scottsdale Bunko group, and Nancy was there one night. And yeah, so I get to see her every month at Bunko, and we have fun. And Nancy usually wins money all the time, so that's super fun. So it's great. Yeah, she's
She
strong.
makes it rain with the money.
And what does she do with all those dollar bills?
I save them and I bring them to the next game of Bunko. Like,
Okay.
yes, I am not going to Thunder Down Under. I was invited, but I am not. That's not my jam. Not going. And Julie worked her way into my heart. She works in real estate, and she showed up at the Halloween party dressed as Rosie the Riveter. And I'm like, okay, any woman who comes up with that as a costume idea is my kind of gal. So Betsy, Missy, and I all play Bunko together. And I think that's also really relevant because since I moved to Arizona 2018, I'm connected with a lot of people and I'm still working on finding my community. That is what my blog post is about today, is how do you downsize your network so that you have the right people in your mesh, as I call it. So I don't want to short shrift Melissa, but she does not work in the real estate industry on any level. She is a CPA. And if you think accountants are boring, think again, boys and girls, because Melissa is a badass. And I could barely talk to Melissa this week because it was tax week. And Melissa, I will let you explain what you're busy doing on tax week and how it relates to organizing and downsizing.
Absolutely. So like you said, people might think I'm a little out of place amongst the rest of the participants today. But what I specialize in is getting your financial house in order for all of my clients. And so, great example, every single year, there's always the client calling you at the last minute. Did I file an extension? Do I need to? Are my taxes done? Oh, I forgot to tell you this thing. Or they just wait until the very last minute and go, hey, I know I needed to get you this stuff, but I totally got distracted and didn't do it, right? And we so frequently see the fallout of that for business owners, especially of just not keeping your financial house in order. And generally, you can imagine that the people that are scattered in their finances are probably scattered in the rest of their life too.
And how do you get paper people to migrate to electronic? Like I have a neighbor who said that she needed space in her apartment for all of her bills. I'm like, what
Yeah.
bills? I have one accordion file that like I stick in a cabinet. Like everything else is online. Like what is this Bill Schmills thing? So how do you get somebody to digitize? Because you and I met at a tech event. We're both very AI savvy. Like how do you wean somebody off of paper and onto digital?
It's almost a little bit of blackmail, to be honest. Basically, what we do is we say you can't work with us unless you follow these workflows. So if you're not going to do the things, well, then you should find a different accountant because we're not going to work well together. And we've always, so my firm is called High Rock Accounting. And we've always been a tech first no paper firm. And that like, I don't own a printer. In our office, we didn't have a printer. I mean, we like very, very, very rarely ever had any paper sitting around. And for me, I mean, makes my life so much better. So I can't imagine all of these individuals who are holding on to years of old bank statements and old bills and old tax returns. And it's like, my God, how much room must that may take up in your life?
Yeah, so that actually is a great segue. One of my favorite words, not to be confused with scooters. But as a professional who deals with cleaning up messes, downsizing, convincing people that they could get away with a smaller place or less stuff, what's the one thing that you're going to do this year to detox your own life? And how are you planning on using technology? And I'm starting with you, Lori, because, as I often say, physician heal thyself. As a therapist, do you have any habits? I mean, I'm looking at your background and you do have a lot of books on your shelf, but are you taking any steps this year to declutter, detox, and digitize your own life?
So I moved into my office a year ago. I moved into my house, I guess, pretty much around the same time. So all I've been doing is getting rid of things, getting rid of clothes, opening boxes, unpacking. And I'm looking, as Melissa's talking, I'm going, oh my God, because I have piles of paper. And I'm from the generation where, you save your papers for 7 years. But like you said, now, I don't have a scanner, so I have to figure out how to take my phone and then I have to scan everything. So it's each paper and what's important. So that's on task for like the upcoming year. And my accountant was ready to kill me. He's like, Lord, just upload it. I'm like, oh my God.
Well, that's where these digitization companies come in. They're making
Crazy.
bank. And I went to somebody local and it was hard taking all my family photos and photo albums and handing them over to a stranger. But they came back. They were safe. She didn't lose anything. And Betsy, a wise one, as somebody who's been doing this for many, many years and has been on the Hoarder TV shows, like, how, are you detox? I've been in your home. Your home is pretty pristine. But is there one thing that you're tackling this year involving technology to use AI or digitization to downsize?
Not digitalization. So I've been paperless probably for over 10 years. I also don't have a printer. I actually don't even carry a purse or a pocketbook. I'm very, very minimalistic in that regard. This year, and I guess even recently, like everybody, I've gotten more into AI and it's changed things where like I had a party the other day and I put everything that I wanted to make and it told me day by day like what I should do. It just makes things quicker. Everything makes it so much easier. It's also my new therapist.
Yes,
So
exactly.
that. And also I'm kind of like very straight to the point, like sometimes with clients. And sometimes I need to go into AI and be like, okay, now make me sound like a normal caring person
Nice person.
that would respond. And so they tell me what to say. And so I'm sounding a lot nicer and
I'm doing the same thing, Betsy. AI can humanize you if you
yes,
need to figure out how to say something that's a little bit
right.
softer,
Yeah.
because it's very hard to get the East Coast out of
Yes, East
the
Coast,
women.
yes. So I have
Yeah.
been helping people get organized for over 25 years. We've done over 80,000 hours of organizing. So I literally seen everything. I'm totally into paperless. And yes, it is definitely something you should be doing for sure.
All right, Missy, what's the one goal you've set for yourself in 2026 to live by your own rules?
Oh, I have so many goals, but I think so. I recently moved into an apartment, and so I had to downsize myself from a 5 bedroom house, and so I'm still kind of just going through a few things here and there of do I need this like for my little space? Probably not. So I'm trying to take the advice that I give to people and use it for myself. And I use AI all the time for my business. It has been super helpful even during tax season. I was doing an Excel sheet for something and there was just something not adding up. And I put it into chat and it was like, this is what was wrong. I'm like, oh my gosh, thank you. You saved my life. So
Yeah, I used
I
AI
love
to
it.
tell me where I could cut my spending. It was great. Like, gave me some really,
Yes.
Oh,
really
yeah.
terrific
Yes.
recommendations. You could just take your QuickBooks report, upload it into the AI of your choice, and it'll do all that for you. So yeah, therapist, organizer,
Therapist.
communication coach, like all of the things.
Mm-hmm.
And Julie, what about you?
One or many. AI is my great friend, also helping me be productive in my real estate activities and reaching out to people and letting them know who I am and what I do. But also, so interesting, I'm getting ready for this podcast. I'm looking around my desk and I'm like, oh boy, I really need to take some time to declutter. And I love the paperless idea. I am a paper person. I love tactile stuff. So that's kind of hard for me. But I think for me, it would be detoxing my camera roll. I have so many pictures, and honestly, not that many of my family. It's about great spaces, beautiful materials, different things that inspire me, whatever. And so I really need to kind of dial that in.
AI can do that too. They could go through all your Google photos and organize them for you. So
My God. Okay.
pretty
It's on,
genius.
on my list for sure.
And last but not least, Melissa, what?
Yes. So, goal this year, certainly, because as you know, Nancy, we are working on a startup, which is very exciting. We also have a women's group called Break Room, which we are, getting in the swing of everything, starting to host events. And I also still run an accounting firm. So, my goal this year is to be the ultimate delegator. I'm getting everything off of my plate and into someone who's going to do it better and faster.
Yes.
But to do that, I have to be hyper organized. I need to be able to give very clear instructions, very clear scopes, very clear SOPs so that I can leave hands off and make sure it's going to be done correctly. And so that's a huge goal of mine this year. And in the meantime, that is all ramping up to this really cool end of year, I think, that we're going to have with a very exciting new company launching.
Nice.
Yes. So just very quickly before we wrap, let's just go around the room really quickly. How could people reach you? Lori, if someone needs either therapy and you work nationally, or to get their house decorated or redecorated out on Long Island, how could people find you?
LGC Interior Design. That's as simple as it gets. And even that for the counseling, they can call me.
Excellent. Betsy?
I service Maryland, DC, and Virginia area. So, and you can reach me through clutterbusters.com or Facebook through Clutterbusters or anything that says Clutterbusters.
Missy?
You can reach me at nomesswithmissy.com, and my social and email is all nomesswithmissy as well.
And Julie?
The best way to reach me is through Instagram about JTay. And yeah, I am working on a website. Don't have it right.
Melissa?
So High Rock Accounting is the name of my firm. You can visit us at www.highrock.co or www.highrockaccounting.com, and you will be able to get attached to us right there on the webpage.
Excellent. Well, thank you. And I can obviously be reached. You found me on YouTube or Spotify or wherever you happen to get your podcast content. But my company name is The On Switch, TheOnswitch. I do content writing. I'm doing AI consulting these days. And then if you just want to be entertained or you want to read about the story of my life, you could follow me as nancyaf.com. And I just started publishing my memoir, one chapter at a time. It's very short. I'm very sparse with my words. So that is called Your Nerve. The first chapter is free. It's ages 0 to 7. The second chapter is going to be very, very juicy. And you do have to pay to read that one. But Your Nerve on Substack. I'm easy to find. And thank you, ladies, for all appearing on the podcast. May, our theme is going to be help in all its forms. So if you know anybody who's helpful, good at giving help, or good at asking for help, send them my way. I'm always looking for new and fun guests. And remember, using my feather duster here to clean up ageism, whether you're 20 or 100, you're still a valued human being. So be age blind, do not be ageist, and peace out.